Hey, and welcome back to Game Talk. I'm your host, Ahmed Mion. Today I'm joined by Connor
Hey guys.
and Mike.
Hi.
And I wanted to kick things off today by just talking about a couple of announcements Nintendo made. And I think they're substantial enough to have constituted maybe a mini direct, but they just decided to drop them without any fanfare. One of them being the major Mario Maker update. And it's actually really interesting because Connor, we spoke about this hypothetical update at the time a few episodes back, and you essentially predicted everything that would be in it.
Yeah, I mean, I predicted the core feature for me. I didn't know they were gonna add like the frog suit or Super Mario 2 stuff, but the core
world
feature of the
builder.
update, huh?
The world builder, right?
Yeah, the world builder is the most important thing to me. And yeah, I played around with it today. I mean, I don't build at all. I just play levels in Mario Maker, but
Yeah.
so far I really like it. There's one big setback that kind of bothers me about it, which is that like as far as I can tell, like the it doesn't have a good browser. Like it seems like you just hit a button and like 10 random world builder world things. I'm hesitant to call them worlds because like, Mario has like 8 worlds and however many levels per world. The vocabulary is a little weird on it, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just call them super worlds for now because that's what they're calling it, right?
Okay.
So you get like 10 super worlds or something, and you just pick from those 10, and you can hit a button and you get a random another 10 super worlds. Like as
So
far as I
there's
can tell.
no sword feature at all?
Yeah, it didn't seem like it.
Gosh, that's
Yeah, it's
bad.
a classic Nintendo move, right? Like they create this
It's a
beautiful thing
monkey's
that we've
paw
wanted.
thing.
Yeah, we've wanted it for ages, and it's kind of terrible because of that.
Yeah.
But also, like, obviously, like, there's no good worlds out yet. Like, it's day one,
True.
And having this edition changes the way, like, it changes the entire game, in my opinion. Like, this isn't just a cosmetic edition. Like, it'll be nice to, like, be able to just group all your worlds as a creator that you've made, or all your levels that you've made before. But the most important thing to me about this is that like the really talented creators can actually do a difficulty curve and like
Yeah, I mean, essentially, this means that people can create full-fledged Mario games and not
right,
just
yeah,
individual levels.
you have a hard cap at like 40 levels, I think, but still that's
That's
plenty.
substantial. Yeah.
Play
Yeah.
levels.
So it's super cool. But yeah, nothing I've played has really like blown me away yet.
Yeah,
I
like,
think it's a
It
loss.
just came out, yeah.
It's a missed opportunity that Nintendo didn't release like one with it, Even if they
Yeah.
didn't make the levels, if they'd curated levels or something
Or
and built
maybe they
one.
should have had like a beta phase like Dreams did to sort of
Yeah.
cultivate it a little.
Yeah, but right now, if you're not building, it's kind of not worth checking out. I'd come back to it in a week. Probably by the time this episode is out, there's going to be some good stuff in there.
Yeah, people work pretty fast.
And like, I don't know, like the browser sucks, right? But like, you can still like, I don't know. I feel like most people find their levels by like knowing good creators and stuff anyway. The people who are really into Mario Maker like have favorited creators. And if you're doing all that anyway, then like your favorite creator is probably going to make a super world and you're going to play that super world and be stoked about it.
Yeah.
And this is substantial enough. Like entering a code for a single level has always sucked in my mind. Like, but I wouldn't mind like going on Reddit or Twitter or something and finding like, oh, this, somebody saying that this super world is really cool. Check out the code. If I'm getting 40 levels out of entering that code, suddenly that payoff is worth it, right? Like,
Of course, yeah.
so I'm
mean-
excited about it overall.
No, it is really exciting, and I definitely think it's kind of like the cherry on top for me for someone who hasn't purchased the game yet. I feel like if and when I do, I'll be getting so much value out of it. It's so substantial, like I said earlier, a few episodes back. Like I would presume that this would be like the core feature of a Mario Maker 3, but I'm pretty surprised that they just included it as a free update for this game.
Yeah, I think it's I'm not surprised, I don't think, because they did promise us a year of feature updates
Yeah.
and everything. And this caps that off. They've said this is the last major update. I don't know. I have a hard time saying it. I just can't predict modern Nintendo these days. Other than that, they always monkeys paw themselves. There's always
Yeah.
something wrong.
So just for fun, if we speculate a little bit, do you think Super Mario Maker 3E could potentially include like 3D worlds? Wouldn't that be kind of crazy? How would that even
Yeah,
be
the
doable?
problem is, I don't know. I could see 3D world style 3D worlds because those really did feel like they were put together with a fairly simple level editor.
Yeah.
Well, not fairly simple. Let's take a step back. Game development's hard and complicated, but you can see like that it looks like a level editor was kind of
Yeah,
used
it's
for
not on
Super
the
Mario
level of
3D.
like Mario Odyssey or something, you know?
Yeah, whereas Odyssey and 64 and Sunshine all look a little more natural.
Yeah.
I don't see those ever having a Mario Maker equivalent, but I could see maybe a Super Mario 3D World Maker.
Yeah. I just feel like that's maybe the next step.
Yeah, I don't know. It's complicated. 3D level design is far more
Yeah.
complicated than 2D to begin with. Like I can't imagine tutorializing it.
Well, I mean, Dreams seems to do that pretty well, even though like
Dreams did not.
it's not just limited to platformers though, but
Yeah, Dreams tutorialized building things. It did not tutorialize level development with or like level design concepts and stuff. Whereas like with Mario Maker, they really like I forgot you haven't played it, Amit, but there are literally tutorials like giving you pro tips on how to design a good level and
that's
stuff,
really
like
cool. Yeah.
using the coins to guide the player and not making troll levels. They really went all in on Mario Maker 2, and I think it helped because a lot of the levels like I've seen people playing random levels in Mario Maker 1, and the quality of the random levels in Mario Maker 2 is
Oh, of
far higher.
course. Oh,
Yeah,
it's higher? Yeah. I was
far
assuming
higher.
I thought you were gonna say like varies wildly. But yeah, I just on the subject of troll levels, like I've been highly entertained by like, for instance, Donkey's videos
Oh
on
yeah.
Mario Maker 2 where he just plays like these absolutely impossible like behemoths of levels.
Yeah, I loved Mario Maker 1 YouTube. I never played Mario Maker 1 because I just didn't play my Wii U much.
Yeah.
But I was really hoping that Mario Maker 2 was going to blow up and, we'd have another, because YouTube was just so obsessed with Mario Maker 1. Like, I think that's the Game Grumps longest running series, I think, is Mario Maker 1.
Yeah. But I feel like YouTube's been pretty on it for Mario Maker 2 as well. Like it's a pretty popular topic on YouTube, is it not?
It's not nearly as big as the first one.
Mhm. Well, I mean, the first one was at the time it was like a new idea, like
Yeah, it
make
was
your
lightning
own
in a
2D
bottle.
Mario.
Yeah.
It sounds like such a simple concept when we talk about it today, but like at the time it was just like that is so innovative and cool and like
Yeah.
opens the door for so much potential.
Yeah, and ROM hacks have been around forever, but not forever, but for a while. And
Yeah.
this update is like the last nail in the coffin for me. Like, I don't see myself playing a ROM hack really
Yeah.
because it's so attainable to get. So, because the last feature that ROM hacks really had was worlds and stuff. Like they could make a full game, and now you can do that in Mario Maker. The only thing you can't do is make new mechanics, and I don't know. I think the vast majority of ROM hacks don't have a ton of new mechanics in them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, when you start talking new mechanics, then that sort of deviates from what makes Mario Mario,
Sort
feel
of.
like
I'm really into ROM hacks though. Like I don't play them a lot, but I like to follow them. I think it's really cool. I don't know if you guys follow it at all, but the Super Mario 64 ROM hack community is just wild.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
They just recently released Super Mario 64 Odyssey, which is a full recreation of Super Mario Odyssey and the Super Mario 64 engine.
Jeez.
I remember seeing Super Mario 64, but every texture and every sound has been replaced with "Hi, I'm Daisy."
Mm,
Oh
that's
god.
that's not the kind of quality I was talking
That's
about.
not quality, but god, did it hurt me.
But like, they have Super Mario 64 multiplayer. There's Super Mario 64 Portal, which is like it adds a portal gun and a bunch of new level design, but it's Super Mario 64 physics.
Wow.
Like, there's a ton of ingenuity in the ROM hacking scene.
Yeah, I don't ever see Nintendo going that route because they want to
Oh no,
controlled creativity for Nintendo, I think.
Yeah, no, because all these, I mean, a lot of these ROM hacks are really cool, but not necessarily that great. Like, people talk about like Super Mario 64 Star Road and Last Impact a lot, and I've played them, and like, I'll go as far as to say that they are extremely impressive. But the level design, and I'm not even saying I could do better. I don't know much about 3D level design or anything, but the level design isn't as good as Nintendo's is.
Well,
Obviously,
yeah,
like they're not.
obviously,
Yeah, they're
that's a
not.
pretty, that's the highest bar probably you could
Yeah,
reach.
but when you play a Mario game, once you take away that like, it's the same reason I don't really care for new Super Mario Bros. Games. Like once you take away that flawless level design, then you just have a really good platformer, and there's a lot of really good platformers out there.
Yeah. No, certainly, yeah. The level design is what elevates the Mario games and just Nintendo games in general.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many Zelda likes out there, but there's nothing comes close to the quality of a tried and true Zelda game.
Also, Super Mario 64's engine, you have to be very careful with your level design to make those fun at all because the camera is so bad.
Oh yeah,
And a
forgot
lot of
about
the
that.
ROM hacks have trouble with that. A lot of the ROM hacks actually like have done camera improvements. One of them even runs in widescreen.
That's crazy. This was a whole world that I only had like a very surface level knowledge of, but
Yeah,
it
it's
seems
very
like
cool.
the pool is a lot deeper than I thought there.
Yeah, ROM hacks are. I love ROM hacks. I think they're super interesting. I mean, you've probably played Pokemon ROM hacks at some point, right? Like, I feel like that's the one.
Uranium, Pokemon.
No, Uranium's a full new game. That's not a ROM hack.
Right. Okay.
But like Pokemon Chaos Black is a super
I've
common
heard
one.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to play them all the time because like Pokemon games just
So how were
want
those
to.
games altered? Did they just add new Pokemon or new gyms
They're
or
usually new maps,
new
and
maps?
they often don't add new Pokemon. Like sometimes they'll add like a legendary or something, but then they'll just do a new game using all the same Pokemon. I know like some of them are crazy. Some of them have like ported new Pokemon back to the Game Boy Advance and stuff because like
Yeah.
it's super common to hack Emerald and Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Hmm.
And yeah, they'll like port the DS Pokemon back to the Game Boy Advance at least. And they'll make, they don't have things like cartridge size limitations really. So, I mean, I think there is an upper limit. I think it's pretty high on Game Boy Advance though for how big the cartridges can be. And it's pretty interesting. I mean, the same thing comes up. The story is usually really edgy. Like obviously the story of a normal Pokemon game is not very good, but
Yeah.
they're usually not super edgy, and that's usually the defining feature of most ROM hacks is edginess, in my experience.
Interesting.
But they're interesting. It's neat to like they give you mundane Pokemon as starters a lot of the time, which I think is really neat.
So just like like a Rattata or something.
Yeah, like a Rattata, a Magmar, something like that. Like
Magmar's not mundane.
it's not. Yeah, that's fair.
Magmar's super
I'm thinking of
mundane.
Slugma. I think
Slugma.
the little tiny. It looks like just a pool of lava that with eyes.
Yeah,
basically.
that's
Yeah.
that's Slugma.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I played. You started with a Slugma. They're interesting.
Why would you start with a Slugma?
I don't know. My other option wasn't any better. I don't know.
Well, in any case, like the other big piece of news I wanted to talk about was an Animal Crossing update. And we all kind of knew this was coming, but I was kind of shocked that it came so quickly.
Really?
It seems it's to me at least it feels like the game just came out. I know it's been a few weeks, but like
See, I think if it had come any later, I wouldn't have been super happy. So it lined up perfectly for me. The same day it got announced, I got my shop upgrade,
yeah.
which is neat. And but really, I've been kind of souring on Animal Crossing. I'm getting really tired of it.
Yeah, it does seem like the routine's kind of grating me too. Like I feel like I've extracted most of the fun I'm gonna get out of it, which
Yeah.
is totally fine. Like I've got like
Yeah, no, I've gotten over 100
90 plus hours,
I would love for this game to like the original Animal Crossing. Then again, I was a kid, and games just last you longer when you're a kid. But I don't know. I would love for Animal Crossing to be something I enjoy checking in on.
No,
For
and I think it
a
certainly
year.
is going to be that, especially like if you look at the timetable, it's been like roughly a month
yeah,
since Animal Crossing came out, and we're getting a major update already. So if we assume we're gonna get updates like semi regularly at this pace, that's gonna keep the game pretty fresh, I think.
I think if it's
Especially,
any less than once a month, I'm gonna have trouble
yeah.
sticking with it because the stuff they're adding in this update, while I'm glad it's getting added, it's not really something I personally was missing. And that's kind of what's grating on me the most is stuff like that I had on New Leaf that I don't have available to me in
So
New Horizons.
let's talk about that really quick. So what they're adding, so they're adding a few things, right? They're adding an expansion to the museum where
Right, to hold
there's like an art
art.
wing. Yeah.
Also, and I have to put this out there is now canonically a penis in Animal Crossing.
What is it? Oh, the
One of the
Michelangelo or something?
statues. Yeah,
Oh, no.
it's the one with the discus. I forget what it's called.
I'm surprised Nintendo
Yeah, I'm shocked they didn't
didn't
censor it,
it
but
or something.
what I saw on Twitter, it was not censored,
Hmm.
which is hilarious.
That is hilarious. Rated E for everybody.
Yeah, well, it's fine art. Like I'm
Yeah,
the one
it's
being a
art,
child
yeah.
here,
Yeah.
but
What else are they adding again, Connor?
so they're adding a character named Red who has like a black market type deal,
Right.
and Red historically can sell you. He sells art among rare furniture as well, usually, and Red sells fake art sometimes, and you have to be able to discern what's real and what's fake. And as far as I know, there's not actually any way to tell the difference.
New Leaf, there was actually like differences in the paintings, and I think they'll carry that over to this game.
Right, so you had to like look it up, kinda. Like you had to know what you were looking at and be able to spot the differences. So for the plebeian like myself with no knowledge of art, it was pretty much a shot in the dark whether or
Yeah.
not you were getting a real thing.
It's kind of silly that Nintendo just assumes, like, are these actual works of art?
Yes.
Yes.
That's hilarious. So they
Yeah,
just assume
I
that
think
like
that's
their
really funny.
their player
I think-
base just knows
I
has
think
has an
you're
art
supposed to
history
roll the
background.
dice.
What's that?
I think the idea is that you're rolling the dice.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
you
it
have
wasn't
an
the
art history-
earlier ones.
So another interesting question. This is my first Animal Crossing, so I have no context. But like, was art in the previous games? Is this like a
Yes.
new thing?
This is the
Okay.
first game that hasn't launched with art in it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, I do feel like at first, at least, like the first several updates will just be about bringing New Horizons up to par with the other Animal Crossing games in terms of features. Because you've said multiple times that like
There's a
you've
lot.
said that like after KK plays in your town, that's where other games start. But that's pretty much like
That
the
is where this game
becomes
ends, yeah.
stagnant after that.
Yeah.
So
And it's weird that it is that way. Like I'm kind of frustrated with it because like I know that those things are coming in the pipeline. Like now that's been kind of made clear to me by this update,
yeah.
but I don't feel like I'm working towards it anymore. Like I felt like I was working towards KK showing up, and now I feel like I'm waiting for things to happen, and that's not as fun to me.
More accurately, just waiting for updates to drop to have more things to do, I guess.
Yeah, and that's not a super fun mentality.
Yeah, I assume hypothetically, like a year from now, if someone buys Animal Crossing, it'll be the ideal experience. But
Yeah, and I
You know,
have
in-
to assume like this patch we're getting right now has to have already been done, right? Like there's no way like they
they
delayed the
had to
game
have been like
a year.
putting the finishing touches on it when they released the game.
And like let's look at this game for a minute. Like I other than graphical improvements, they didn't change enough from New Leaf, in my opinion, for this to have like needed the time that it took. Like I don't understand where all that time went, honestly. I'm a little frustrated with it, I think. Like how feature bare it is compared to previous releases, given like they got a whole extra year, right? When they delayed it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak to previous releases, but I don't know, at least in terms of like engagement, like I always felt like it was just fun to run around in the world for at least the first like 80 plus hours, right?
Yeah, it definitely is
chunk of
fun.
fun.
It's just annoying to me that they released a game like I don't know. There's just features.
So was this like a common criticism in like the reviews and stuff? Because I didn't really see anything like that.
I think so. I mean, definitely. I think everybody was kind of starstruck with it, and also like the reviewers didn't necessarily know what was in the game because it takes over a month.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Like in New Leaf, it took, and I guess technically I don't know that these things aren't in the game because like even the data the data mining and stuff has been not totally conclusive on a lot of things.
Hmm.
So like some of my complaints, like not having the Dream Suite and stuff, that could be in the game maybe, but not knowing is really weird because we've never known so little before.
Yeah.
What's the
So-
Dream Suite?
The Dream Suite was a thing in New Leaf, and it's something I really want to have in New Horizons. You could like upload a copy of your town to the internet, and people could go to the Dream Suite and dream about your town, which was to say visit it, but nothing they did there was like had any consequences. Like
Right.
you couldn't actually keep anything that you got there,
Hmm.
but it was just an opportunity to walk around somebody's town, like just to see it.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's all you can really do now. I mean, the multiplayer only exists really to show your town off.
Hmm. I feel like Animal Crossing is a game with so much potential for like little mini games and stuff, kind of like along the lines of Mario Party, I think. Just like little
Yeah.
mini games.
Or Yakuza.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
with just like little mundane activities. If they add little mini games to them, it would just go a long way, I think.
And they exist. They are in New Horizons. There are little mini games. They're just really hard to get to. Like I
Like
told
what?
you, one of my neighbors, I pestered him like for half an hour or something. I was just bugging him a bunch. And he like put together a scavenger hunt on my island. Like I had to scour the entire island looking for something he'd buried with a time limit.
Yeah.
And that went a long way.
Yeah,
Like,
that's cool. Like I haven't encountered anything like that yet.
yeah, no, I've played 100 hours, 100, and I've only seen that once.
Hmm.
It's kind of crazy.
And we should
Like-
up the frequency of that sort of thing.
Yeah. But the events are going to go a long way. I think like the stamps in the museum, even though that'll be kind of dumb, like you literally just walk through the museum, it looks like, but it's something to do.
Yeah. But
I
like
think something that's really weird for me is that they put in this whole system for Isabel, like delivering news.
she barely ever has anything to say.
Yeah,
which
she
is really
never
funny.
says, like, it's almost always just a waste of my time. Like it's almost it's like a long pause from the game where Isabel talks about what TV she's been watching, and they didn't even put in that many like unique dialogue things for her. Like
I
I've already got
wonder-
repeats.
I wonder if that announcement system is sort of just like them having it be a placeholder for like, a year from now when there's more things going on in the game. There's more to say every day, but like right now it's pretty bare.
Maybe, but it just feels they should, like, this is such an easy game to have a plan for. They knew people were going to buy it on launch day. They knew what schedule they were going to release things on, at least to some extent. They could have
Yeah.
written something interesting for Isabel to say every day for a year. That's only 365 things. Like, that sounds like a lot, but you're Nintendo. You can afford it. Like,
True.
it's a weird call to not do that, in my opinion.
It is, but at the same time, so this is kind of transitioning to another topic, but like at the same time, when they see sales performance like they're seeing with the effort they put in, like why would they be motivated
Yeah,
to?
exactly.
So like
And yeah, and like there are so many things that like I was able to look past at first because I was so starstruck by how charming this game is. I hate every time I have to play multiplayer. I dread it. Like I don't enjoy it anymore at all.
multiplayer is definitely tedious.
I
And-
only do it to like sell turnips now.
And I think that's par for the course for Nintendo. I mean,
This is
they're
worse
good
than
multiplayer. They're good online multiplayer games, or a dime a dozen.
usual. Yeah, I mean I've played Smash Bros. Online and had a good time with it, and like still do. Like,
Yeah,
at least-
I have some strong feelings about Smash Bros. Online. It's not unplayable to me.
I only
most
play
of
it
the
with
time.
friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to be in the same. You have to be very close to each other.
But like, if you try, I've tried to play like ranked competitive before, and it's
Oh,
just
it's a waste
so
of time.
annoying.
Yeah. Mario Kart was always really good.
Yeah, Mario
Online.
Kart's always solid. I don't play it, but I imagine Splatoon is solid based
Yeah,
on.
it's gotta be.
Yeah, it has to be.
It's the whole
Otherwise,
game.
jeez.
And
yeah.
that's what's so confusing to me because a lot of the Splatoon 2 devs were on New Horizons. But then again, it's not like a netcode issue with Animal Crossing. Like the actual like code side works. It's just that there's so many user experience hiccups with it and just weird stuff they won't let you do in multiplayer.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you literally can't do anything on your island if people are over. which
Yeah.
is kind of baffling.
Oh,
I
it's
guess.
not nearly as bad now as it used to be.
Are you saying they fixed it?
No, I mean like old Animal Crossing games used to be even worse. You used to be able to do even
Oh,
less.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's still. I mean, the fact that I can't open my gates from my Nook phone, having to like, do you want to connect to the internet? Yes, of course I want to connect to the internet. I just selected play online. Like, they act like connecting to the internet is some irreversible crime. Like, are you sure you want to do
Yeah.
that?
But just to play devil's advocate here, this game is designed for children, so like I don't know.
Yeah, but the
They
Switch
want to
has
make
parental
things as
controls.
clear and explicit as possible.
The Switch has parental controls on it. Like,
It does. And I do remember like I think when I first played, like I think one of the first things I saw was like get your parents help for this sort of thing. I just thought that was such a weird thing. I forget exactly what it was for. Did you guys see that when you started New Horizons?
I can't remember.
Yeah, there was some weird thing like that. Like, I think maybe the first time I opted to
Oh,
play
the first time you
online
go
or
online.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
get
was like
your
a big
parents'
legal
permission. It's like,
spiel. Yeah.
yeah.
The legal eagles.
Yes. Yeah. At least they have fun with it.
Yeah, even the really annoying dialogue is super charming, but
Yeah.
there's just no excuse for the menus to be so terrible. And like, I swear it's gotta be like they took the menu code straight out of New Leaf, because some of it like they only ever have like 4 options per menu, and on the 3DS that made sense because there wasn't enough screen space for more options. But now you're on the Switch, you got a 720p screen, you can put 10 options or whatever in a list. It's not gonna hurt anybody, and they're still not doing it.
Yeah.
So it really does make me feel like a lot of the dialogue code was just ported.
Yeah. Definitely the weakest part of New Horizons is UX stuff.
Yeah.
Just unneeded tedium. Maybe it's there to mask loading issues. I don't know.
I can't imagine loading text is taking them that long. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't
And
know.
it's also weird that like the only time the game has to pause to save is when you're talking to someone. Like the game can auto save in the background 90% of the time, but then when you're talking to someone like Orville, like you want to leave your
Yeah.
island and it has to pause to save. Like you would
Yeah,
think
I
that
feel
would be
like
the easiest place to mask a save.
These are results of like maybe poor design decisions that were made early on, that
Yeah.
it was
that's the
designed in
thing.
such a way that it has to be this way now. I
It's
think.
like all design problems. It's not like the core game is so good, but then there's just a couple of little things that make it unbearable.
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to bring this up a little bit. I don't know if you guys saw this news, and it ties quite nicely into like the online issues we're discussing for Nintendo. But an investor, Value Act, acquired a 1.1 billion stake in Nintendo, and their aim for doing this was to help bolster and make their online services prosper more. But the one part of that concerns me is that they compared Nintendo. They want to bring Nintendo's prosperity online speaking, strictly speaking of like online quality, up to EA and Activision's standards.
Oh,
Which
no.
when I hear those two companies mentioned together with Nintendo, like I'm sure the intent is good there, but like
Yeah, I mean, let's
I
be
kind
honest,
of
like I've
cringe when
never
I
had an
hear
issue
EA
finding people to play a game with in Call of Duty. Like,
that's that's
Yeah.
true, but like with this stake acquired in Nintendo, and which obviously gives them a little more of a voice in like management and stuff, like that worries me a little bit that they're here standing EA and Activision. It probably means nothing. It's just the paranoia in me speaking. But
yeah, I mean, they should have said PlayStation and Xbox if they wanted to talk about online that works, but
yeah. But they like one interesting thing they said was, we believe, quote, we believe Nintendo will be one of the largest digital media services in the world, in a category with the likes of Netflix and Disney Plus. So
I mean, they're poised to do it if they could get
Yeah.
like if they could make their online services actually decent.
yeah, it is certainly Nintendo's weak point, and has been for what, like a decade plus now.
Yeah, it's been-
which is kind of
yeah.
surprising to see that it's still that way. So yeah, perhaps this outside help will really help bring that up, but also gives me a little pause, just a little pause.
Speaking of weird shakeups in online gaming, did you guys hear about the issues with Valve today?
Oh yeah, no, their source code got leaked.
Yep, the
Wait,
source
really?
code for CS:GO was leaked, I believe, and
Oh
now
man.
And TF2.
and TF2. Well, any source game at this point is incredibly dangerous to play online
Yeah.
because, and this is mind-boggling to me, they found an exploit to run arbitrary code to any connected client.
Jeez.
Yeah. So if you own any of these games, you cannot play them right now. It's extremely dangerous.
This
They
might finally
could
be
get
the
access
thing.
to your Steam account. They could get access to your computer. Like, it's really, really bad.
This might finally be the thing that kills TF2.
Yeah.
It was already on its deathbed, but this might kill it.
Was it though? Like I always thought TF2 was a very popular. Like I'm not really in that world too much, but like I know how big of a deal it is.
And if ever there was good news for Valorant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Valorant. Yeah.
I'll speak about that later.
Yeah.
But no, TF2. As shortly after that, I think they released their matchmaking update, which pretty much screwed over custom servers. It just started to die.
Really?
Like a lot of like the custom servers that I used to play on are all dead and empty now. So
I mean,
and it's all just Valve servers.
how old is TF2? It's been around for a while, right?
It's like 10 years old. Hold on.
It's got to be older than that.
Yeah. I feel like 10 years ago it was at its like height, you know?
I'm checking. How old is TF2? 2007.
Okay.
It's well over a decade old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to me that such an exploit is even possible.
Yeah, I mean, what on earth are they transferring? Like, I think of what you need for a competitive online shooter, and it's like text X, Y, and like that you shot a shot. Like, where on earth does arbitrary code execution come from there? Like,
Yeah,
Counter-Strike Source
that's very
maybe because of sprays and stuff, but like,
yeah, that's very shadowy. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest.
yeah, I mean, the fact that that exploit is there is scary, but like, I don't trust. I mean, I guess I technically do trust Valve with that because I run applications that they make on my computer, but like, arbitrary code execution, like, if somebody had known about this and not the whole world known about it, like, that would have been really dangerous.
So
Yeah.
CS:GO is apparently, according to Valve's Twitter, is safe because the version that was released was an old depot that was released to partners in like 2017.
Okay. But yeah, I think it's irresponsible. If Valve still has the multiplayer up in TF2, I think that's extremely irresponsible.
For
Like,
sure, yeah. Especially, if someone didn't hear the news or whatever, logs in.
Yeah.
They're extremely vulnerable.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine, like, not being able to go anywhere because you might catch a virus?
Who would want to live in such a world?
Whoa. Oh, that hurt me. How many players does TF2 have? Because TF2, like, I feel as soon as Overwatch released, it really just kind of went down.
Yeah, Overwatch was one of the big ones that took over, I think. And now it seems like I don't know a lot about Valorant, but I see it everywhere now.
Oh
Like,
my god.
I am really close to wanting to play it because, like, I think it has better anti-cheat than CS:GO, is something I heard.
People are up in arms that it's a level 0 kernel anti-cheat, but a lot of anti-cheats use that same kernel access.
Yeah, I've actually dug into that a little bit, and I felt comfortable with it.
Yeah, it's always on, but
The issue is and this is another one of those, like, we always talk, like, I hate turn-based combat, and it takes me a lot to get past that. I really don't like character shooters, and that's, like, the only thing keeping me from Valorant. Like,
I'm gonna save my talk about Valorant for later.
oh, you're
Sure,
gonna,
yeah.
I'm actually
Okay.
in the beta.
so yeah,
okay, well, we'll just save
character
that, yeah.
shooters,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like, if they are extremely appealing to me. I just don't play too many first-person shooters. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast before, but like when Overwatch first came out, for like a week straight, that's literally all I played.
Oh,
see,
yeah, no.
24/7, that's all I played. Then after that 1 week, I never touched it again.
See, I like a good FPS. I don't think Overwatch, and this is a super hot take, that like I'm not this isn't the hill I'm gonna die on or anything, but I don't think Overwatch is that good of a game. I just think it has such amazing good game feel. Like it feels really good to play. But like when you take a step back, I just don't think it's that interesting at a low level. Like at a competitive level, most games get really interesting, but Overwatch just doesn't really interest me.
Yeah, I don't know if I know enough about Overwatch to make an argument either way.
I've played it quite a bit, and I think the thing that bothers me most is that they sell it like these characters are such a huge selling point of Overwatch, and they're supposed to be so charming and stuff.
Well, to be fair, like whenever a new character is announced, like even for someone like me who doesn't care, like who isn't in that world at all, I hear about it. Like
Yeah,
it's
but tell me
everywhere.
one thing about any character in Overwatch that's not purely cosmetic.
I I wouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I assume they have lore to them and stuff.
Yeah, but none of it
Tracer's
is in the game.
LGBT representation. That's all I got.
Like, yeah, all these characters and stuff, but none of it's in the actual game. You have
Yeah,
to like go to all this extra
Yeah,
media
wouldn't
and
it be
stuff, and I
so
hate
cool
that.
if they like made a lengthy campaign with these characters?
Oh yeah,
Like
I'd
actually
probably
have
do
them
this.
do stuff in the story.
I
That
don't
would
even
be
need
so
a
sick.
campaign though. Like even if it was just like I don't know, something.
They have
Something.
done some
I
lore
think
things through events, but that's about it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like I think we're speaking from the minority here. Like the overwhelming majority of people are totally happy with that just being flavor, and then the game just being, the multiplayer aspect of the game is the game. That's what
Yeah.
people care about.
I like
Un-
playing as just a random like soldier in shooters though, if I'm being honest. Like I like CS:GO in large part because you can't see the characters' faces.
Yeah.
Like I think that's cool. Like same with Halo. Like
Yeah,
I
I mean,
like,
each has its own strengths and weaknesses, I think.
and it's hard to explain why I feel that way because I really like Doom and the Doom Slayer has character.
Yeah, I mean, but like in the case of like Call of Duty or something, it definitely makes you
Yeah,
feel more
you're that
immersed.
character. Yeah, you're the
Yeah.
soldier. Like, and I prefer that vastly. I think in a shooter, and like especially something like Valorant is very much taking a page out of CS:GO, and CS:GO, like I would be fine if it had classes, and really I don't see the difference between classes and characters mechanically, and I'd rather have classes. I think, but I think characters are more marketable. Maybe I don't really understand.
Yeah,
it
they
all.
definitely are.
But I definitely, and I also think that character shooters hurt esports, because you don't see the player, you see the character. And
I don't know about
rather,
that though. Like I'm
I'd rather see the
assuming like
player.
so I don't know anything about competitive Overwatch, but I'm assuming the players are all visible.
Well,
At
competitive
some
Overwatch, like for example, there's actually a competitive Overwatch player on a cereal box right now. Like there's a brand deal going on, I
Okay.
think, but it's not the player, it's the character. And also
Interesting.
Blizzard owns all the teams in the Overwatch League. Like,
Yeah, it's franchised.
yeah,
Hmm.
so that's all extremely stupid. Like it's all a marketing ploy. Like
I mean,
it's not
the
a
fact
sport,
that
it's a marketing ploy. Like
the fact that it's franchised is actually a lot better way of getting money into the teams because without franchising in esports, a lot of teams will just kind of suffer from not getting money from winning tournaments.
yeah.
So franchising is probably the best idea. Like I know Riot does franchising with their league championships,
Yeah, it's
and
just
they'll probably do it with Valorant.
I need focus on the players. Like the players are so much more interesting than the characters in a sports setting.
Yeah, and the fact that like Overwatch esports is not exactly in the best of places right now because
Yeah.
Blizzard doesn't know how to do an esport other than StarCraft.
Yeah.
Maybe they should take a page out of Riot's book.
Yeah, because I see Valorant. I mean, I've just like I've cursory glanced at Valorant. And we can talk about it more in your later, but the level design looks very good in it, and that is attractive to me.
See, I've yet to even see a screenshot of Valorant, but I just keep hearing about it over and over and over, and it's at the point now where I'm so curious. I just want to look up gameplay of it,
Well, do we
not
wanna
knowing
move
anything.
into-
I literally don't know anything about it.
Do we want to move into games we've been playing?
Sure, yeah. So why don't we start with Valorant, Mike?
So I got into the Valorant beta. it feels, from someone who have never played CS:GO, it feels really good to play. Everything about it feels good. The abilities feel good, and
So
it's not like they're like overpowered either.
is it a character shooter, kind of like Overwatch?
Uh, in a way, but you actually have to buy your abilities,
Oh,
so they
Oh, so it's like
actually pull off your economy as well.
okay, so that sounds very League-esque.
not. Are you familiar with Counter Strike at all, Ahmed?
Not too much, no.
So it
It's
is
like,
kind of like League. So it's like in a round, if you die once, you're out of the round.
Right, okay.
And if you survive a round, you get to keep all the items you had in that round, like your gun
yeah,
and stuff. And if you get kills, you get money for that. And also winning a round, you get money for that. I think you
Okay,
get a
yeah.
small amount of money for losing.
you get either between 1.9 or 2.9, depending on how long you've been losing.
But yeah, you use that
At
money to
least
buy
in Valorant.
weapons. You use that money to buy weapons, and I guess in this case abilities to use that round, and you get to keep them. Like
Yeah,
grenades are finite,
Yeah.
obviously, but a gun you would get your ammo back and stuff for the next round if you stayed alive. And you can
yeah.
also like, do you? I forget if in CS:GO you got to keep a gun you stole into the next round.
Yes, you do get to keep a gun you stole because I stole someone's gun and was using it for like 3 rounds.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing. Like the heavy emphasis on staying alive is my favorite part of Counter Strike. I've always loved like because in so many shooters you have people who just run into the fire and they'll like kill you with a lucky shot, but then they'll die too. And
Yeah.
that's not fun really to me. I mean
Yeah,
it is, but it's so much more tense. Like it's like a
So
really
kind of like Rainbow Six, right? Where
yeah,
it's just like
a lot like that.
you have
Yeah.
one life, the tension is through the roof.
It's like a less tense version of PUBG kinda or Fortnite, like because the matches
Yeah.
are the rounds are way shorter, but like if you're out of the round, you're out of the round. You're not coming back.
Yeah. But so I guess my question is, what is it about Valorant that's got everyone so hyped up?
I feel like it's a combination between their anti-cheat being pretty solid and their super high like tick rate servers. Like when I peek
So it
around a
just feels
corner,
really good to play.
yeah, the gunplay feels great. The abilities mesh really well. Everything feels good about it.
It's crazy to me that Riot, like they're not known for first-person shooters, right? But
I mean,
they
they're
come
only
out,
a lot
known
of
for
things.
League, right?
they're only known for
Yeah.
League, yeah. And
But
like
what
the League spin-offs, but like what's just crazy to me is that they have the talent to just come out the gate and make a game like this.
Well, they also
Yeah.
have money, right? Like
Yeah, well, obviously they have the money, but you need talent and money to make a game like this. It's not just money, I think.
I think the talent's out there to hire if you know how to find it.
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of talented game developers who need money.
Boast. Yeah.
All I've been playing since I got to the beta was Valorant.
Yeah,
That's
I want
about
to try it. I've been watching Twitch for like the first time ever, trying to get in.
Yeah, I like the way they're giving keys out and just it's based on drops from Twitch streams.
So is the level design another big positive? Because
Oh yeah, no, the level design's really satisfying. Since with abilities, there's an element of verticality almost in certain places. Like you have to be able to look up as well.
that's really cool. Yeah, I really appreciate the vertical element in first-person shooters. Like the last first-person shooter. And granted, again, I don't play many first-person shooters, but the last one that really impressed me level design-wise was like Halo 3. Like, I loved a huge majority of the multiplayer maps in that game I have them memorized like the back of my hand, and I feel like that's a good mark of of good level design if it's able to imprint on you like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Counter-Strike Go in 2 years probably, but I could probably draw you an accurate map of DE Dust 2. Like, I loved that map.
Everyone
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's the meme map to like.
I mean, right now Valorant has 3 maps. One of them has a one-way teleporter in it
ooh,
that
that's
goes
good.
from A point to B point.
so I feel like people are camping out B point just waiting for people to come through.
Oh no, the teleporter is used by the defenders primarily. It's much
So what-
more easily accessible by defenders.
So when you say defend, like, what are the game modes here? So
It's-
in my mind, I was just picturing like a team deathmatch type
No,
thing.
it's search and destroy.
Okay, interesting.
Like the teleporter is one way, and it goes directly like into the middle of the map from the B point. And generally, when I go through it, there's always every single person on the other team kind of sitting there, ready to move on to A. So I get gunned down every time.
But it's similar, like you said, search and destroy. It's like the bomb planting, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So is that intended to be the only mode?
Just like CS:GO, I think it's going to be the primary mode.
Okay.
Like every competitive shooter, search and destroy has become
It's the
like
most interesting.
competitive game. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely remember from my stint in COD 4, when I was a big first-person shooter guy. Like that's mostly what we played. So it's interesting to see that that's persisted all these years.
It's just more interesting than team deathmatch because camping isn't like camping as a defender is obviously useful.
And obviously, there's more layers of strategy to search and destroy as well.
Yeah. I feel like it's also the one life aspect.
Yeah, that
Like
too.
that's what really brings up search and destroy to being competitive. Because you can press numbers advantages a lot better than just doing really well in a team deathmatch.
Yeah.
Have you been streaming it, Mike?
Oh yeah, I've been streaming the crap out of Valorant.
Can I get drops if I watch your stream?
Yes, they recently enabled drops for all streamers.
Okay, because I want into the beta if I can. I would love to play this game.
My interest is very piqued, and probably after we finish here, I'm going to look up some gameplay videos. So what's the whole character aspect to it? Like, I still haven't really grasped that in my head, I guess.
The characters have like this distinct set of abilities. Like the character I play a good bit is based off of grenades. So they have like a cluster grenade, a bot that'll move in like a zigzag, a pattern, or not a pattern. It'll move straight until it hits a wall, then bounce off the wall and go another direction. And then when it sees a player, it will chase after them and self-destruct.
Okay. So each character has their own abilities.
Yeah.
But
Like one has
but not their own guns. I'm assuming because you can access the shop and get your own guns.
Yeah, guns are shared.
Okay, so this game sounds like if Overwatch and Counter-Strike had a baby.
It really is. The abilities, to the large part, aren't like that game changing either.
Sort of like Apex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I was able to tolerate it in Apex because of how good the rest of the game was.
So
Like,
the
they're
game
gonna
is
give
more
you
reliant on
advantages.
it's mostly reliant on actual skill rather
Yeah.
than like abilities, which is cool.
Other than your ultimate abilities. Your ultimate abilities they're guaranteed to get you at least a kill. Some of them. Just because of the way they work. Like one character's ultimate ability reveals everyone on the map after he hacks a corpse.
Wow.
Like you kill someone and then you ult the corpse and then everyone on the map is revealed for a couple seconds.
That's cool.
And I imagine time to kill is extremely low in this game.
Oh yes, most guns are like a 1 or 2 bullet headshots, 4 bullet body shots.
And I
You
saw
die
that
fast.
the bullet spray is the same as Counter-Strike essentially,
Yeah,
which is to say not random, which means you can get good enough that there essentially is no bullet spread.
Definitely sounds like Riot's going for that market hard with this game.
Yeah, I almost hate
Competitive
supporting Riot
FPS.
though because they're such a terrible company, but here we are.
they do
Yeah,
good products
I mean-
though for some reason.
Yeah, they do. I can't knock them. They make
Yeah, the
games that people
quality's
like.
there, and the remark about the being a bad company, like I feel like now that all of that stuff's a little more transparent and like people are seeing into these companies and seeing some of the toxic culture there, I hope that's motivating some change. Like I know it is for Rockstar. Like Rockstar put out a statement saying that like, hey, we're doing all of these things. We've heard you. Like all this stuff is being addressed. And we're
Yeah.
being a lot more transparent about these things. And if Rockstar, which is like one of, if not the biggest game company in the world, is doing it, maybe that motivates other people to do it too.
Speaking of toxic cultures, Jason Schreier's out of Kotaku.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you see where he's going?
Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is
That's
wild.
that's a huge upgrade, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and
definitely
like
a
so all of
weird.
a sudden this means Bloomberg's going to be breaking news, game news, like
Yeah.
which is crazy to me.
Yeah, yeah, but he was pretty unhappy with new management and stuff, wasn't he? So
I mean,
this is a good thing for him.
yeah, and Kotaku, yeah, it's been seeing like kind of like a mass exodus. Like I don't know if any of you guys follow Tim Rogers, but I find his videos hilarious, and he was with Kotaku for many years, and he just left as well, and he has got
I
his own
think
Patreon
it's
set up.
due to like the Deadspin issue where the guy who's running the company basically said no.
No, just in general.
Yeah, they were trying to do like some little games news because they liked doing games news on Deadspin, which was
Yeah.
predominantly a sports site, but I had some games news on it too until the new owner of the company that also owns Kotaku and everything decided to shut that down and start firing writers.
Yeah, and but like, yeah, I mean, so Kotaku's I think lost a good chunk of their talent, and I mean, Jason Schreier is like the biggest loss. I think he's a force to be reckoned with in the games industry. So, and I think this could only be good for him. You know, like he's going to be going to a bigger place that presumably he won't hate, and like he'll keep doing his thing and breaking games news, giving us things to talk about. You know. And the same thing with Tim, you know, now he's no longer restricted if he was, you know, with Kotaku. He can continue to make the content he makes. So good on these creators for these guys for leaving and going to bigger and better things. But yeah, aside from that tangent, Mike, do you have anything more to say about Valorant?
No, I've said everything I can right now.
All right, yeah, definitely gonna check that out after the show. I think I can go next. So, a couple episodes ago, I alluded to playing a really terrible mobile game, and I think I'm going to talk about it today. The game's called Adventure Capitalist, and I've been playing it like a crazy person for the past like 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow, I'm surprised you're still playing it.
I'm still playing it, and it's so bad, and I know it's bad, but I can't stop playing it. So essentially, it's there's like no gameplay at all. All it is one of those like clicking games.
Yeah, they're
So
addictive.
yeah, so you're a venture capitalist, and you have to make investments, and those investments essentially just make you money. And the whole point of the game is that the numbers that you attain are just absolutely ridiculous. Like very soon, like after a few minutes of gameplay, you're going to be making trillions of dollars, and then like an hour or two later, you're making like octillions, nonillions of dollars, and like now I'm making numbers that I can't even really pronounce, that have so many zeros that like it's pretty unfathomable.
So you're
Unfathomable.
saying that this game is terrible. I've actually heard good things about this game. Like
No, I
it's a
don't know.
clicker
Like,
game, but
yeah, it's a good clicker game, but I think the purist in me just hates the fact that I enjoy this game so much because there's like no gameplay. It's just like constant dopamine. It's just like look at this big number. But like one interesting thing is that like they have the concept of like these angel investors, right? So they start accumulating after you have over $1 trillion.
Mhm.
And what they do is that they provide like a flat percentage bonus. Each one provides a bonus to like how much money you're making. So the idea is you can claim your investors, but that restarts all of your businesses to zero, and you have to start again from scratch. But the idea is the more investors you have, the faster you can get to and eclipse the point you were at before. So eventually it gets to the point where you have like octillions of angels too. So it's just like the snowball effect is just insane. And it gets to the point where you can do a reset in like mere seconds because that's how fast you make the money back.
wow.
So yeah, it's a game of constant escalation, and you just you click to buy, and that's really all there is to it. But it's just the satisfaction of seeing these absurdly high numbers.
Yeah, I know you're a sucker for big numbers.
Yeah, Maple Story, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like again, I can't emphasize enough. Like I've never even seen numbers this high before. Like these, I've never like some of these numbers like my knowledge of high numbers got surpassed long ago. Like these numbers are
It's like bigger than a long.
um well,
Triskadikadoo.
I think a long has like 26 digits or something.
Yeah, yeah, bigger than 26 digits by far.
I think I might be wrong.
Yeah, but Mike's got the right idea there. Yeah, like those kind of numbers.
Let
Yeah.
me just boot up Adventure Capitalist and see where I'm at.
Oh, you play it too?
Oh no, I played it like long ago and actually put real money into it like an idiot.
Oh no. Yeah, that's the dangerous part. So the other
I'm gonna boot it up and it's gonna send me notifications again. Like, why aren't you playing my game?
Yeah, so the other dangerous part about this game is it relies heavily on microtransactions, and I've not spent a cent on it. So, like, that's proof enough that you can play this game and enjoy it without having to spend money. But, like, obviously you can spend money to accelerate the process if it's feeling slow to you and stuff like that.
Spending real money is the only way to actually, like, completely complete the events.
That's not true. I've completed a couple of events without spending money.
To get, like, max rewards. Like, I wasn't on leaderboards and I was spending real money. It was not fun.
Yeah. So I haven't done that yet, and I don't think I will. Actually, I know I won't. Yeah, I'm not going to spend money on this game. But the thing that helps you out though is that like you can apply multipliers to your money gain by watching ads. So I've been watching lots of ads. So like half my time playing this game is actually just watching ads, which sounds ridiculous, but like
that is so adventure capitalist. I can't even wrap my head around it.
Yeah. You were offline for 9,420 hours. Jesus Christ.
Well, how about that money or that number there, Mike? You want to?
I could get you earned 521.722 sexacepta ignitillion.
There you go. Yep.
Watch
Those are the kind of numbers we're talking about.
Septa ignitillion. It's like I'm speaking a different language.
A long was like 19 or 20 digits, by the way.
Yeah, so this is like approaching 70, I think. I heard the septa.
That's a lot.
So, yeah, that's what I've been playing. I don't recommend it. Don't play it.
Speaking of big numbers, this is an aside, but did you see that MapleStory 2 global servers are getting shut down?
I heard it was getting shut down, yeah. So that game's just done, right?
Yeah, well, in the West. I think it's still going strong in Korea, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think it came out and no one really cared. And, like, I tried it.
I played it. It's not very good.
Yeah, it was awful. Like, MapleStory 1 is superior in every aspect.
Yeah, they didn't really capture... I guess maybe I'll talk about MapleStory 2 for my games I've been playing, even though I didn't play it much.
Okay.
I might do that, as I might split the difference, because I had another one I wanted to talk about. But they kind of didn't... they did too much questing, which is a weird thing for me to say, because I thought MapleStory didn't have enough back in the day.
Yeah, the questing was so tedious in 2, from what I
it was so linear. It was like linear to the point you couldn't make any decisions at any point. Like, and it was too story based. Like, I liked MapleStory's missions because they were like a story happening around you, whereas MapleStory 2 was a story happening about you, and I didn't like that as much.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to MapleStory 1 or 2's quest structure or anything because you know why? I'm in it for just grinding.
I felt like that wasn't even an option.
But even the act of like combat and like leveling up felt so unsatisfying in MapleStory 2.
It felt a lot like every other MMO, which was unattractive. Anyway,
that like like it just was bland and icky. I
liked some stuff like the content creation stuff in it. I thought was really neat, but I never even got to really experience it.
What was the content creation stuff? I don't even.
You could like build your own house and you could build your own levels and stuff.
Oh right, yeah. I knew about the houses.
Even got to do any of that because I just didn't get far enough in the game.
Yeah, it was just. I don't know. Like, I don't know why they felt the need to even release this game. Like, who releases a sequel to their MMO? Is that a thing?
That's actually pretty common. Guild Wars 2 is super popular.
Oh, yeah, Guild Wars 2. Yeah, that's a popular one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like it really shouldn't be necessary. If your MMO is designed right, you could just keep adding to it.
Yeah, I mean, games get old eventually. I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no. There's actually a nice video by Nerd Slayer on YouTube that covered the death of MapleStory 2.
Yeah, I think I watched that actually.
It's a great channel. Everything about it is very like well researched.
Yeah.
Anyway, the game I actually quite liked that I played this week was Gato Roboto.
What is that?
It's kind of weird to describe. It's a Metroidvania, sort of. I'll explain that in a second. But it's a Metroidvania with 1-bit color, so it's all black and white, no gray, just black and white. And so the graphics are super charming, and I think just really impressive how well they communicate everything given that limitation.
Yeah.
And it's a super charming game and stuff, and it's a linear platformer shooter, like almost Mega Man style, dressed up as a Metroidvania. And I say that it's only dressed up as a Metroidvania because at no point, I played probably an hour of it, maybe a little less. So I guess it could change as I get farther into the game. But at no point was there a decision to make. And I think that that's the sign of a Metroidvania design-wise. I never hit a fork in the road where there were two directions I could go that were both viable. I would always hit a dead end almost immediately.
Well, another, I think, telltale sign of a Metroidvania is an area you can't access at first, but then after you get some sort of upgrade, you go back to, and then you explore that area.
Right, and there has been some of that, but it's really superficial. You don't have to go back very far, or it's even along the path or something. It's all felt very linear, but I'm saying that because not because it's a bad thing in this game necessarily, because the shooting is fun, it's super charming. I'm gonna finish it. I really like it, and it's free on Game Pass. So if you have that, check it out. It's fun. I just don't. I don't know. The term Metroidvania gets thrown around an awful lot, and I feel like this one's really not in the spirit of a Metroidvania. It's more paying homage to a Metroid game, maybe. It's hard to explain. It really isn't. It's not tickling the same parts of my brain that a Metroidvania does.
Yeah.
But
almost,
I do
but
like
not quite there, sounds like.
It's super cute. You play as a cat named Kiwi, I think? Kiki. And you're on a spaceship, and the guy piloting the spaceship is going to go check out a disturbance on a planet, and the spaceship crashes, and the guy gets injured, and so he's Kiki, you're gonna have to go without me and explore this planet. And he kind of realizes oh my god, I'm talking to a cat, this is stupid. But then Kiki actually does go and finds a mech suit that miraculously fits Kiki, and you play as this cat and shoot a bunch of stuff, and it's pretty fun.
And you get upgrades?
Yeah, you get upgrades, yeah. I actually think something super interesting that it does that I really like is that the first upgrade you get is the mech suit, but instead of having a morph ball, you leave the mech suit behind because the cat is so much smaller. So if you have to crawl into small spaces or go in water, you have to ditch the mech suit because the mech suit is not waterproof.
Makes sense.
And it doesn't fit. And I think that's super interesting because also Kiki is killed in a single shot when you're not in the mech suit. So it's
extreme Titanfall 2.
Yeah, they put you in the danger zone a little. Well, you also can't attack at all when you're just Kiki.
Oh, okay.
So not even that, really. But I really like the game. I think it's an interesting... I've had my eye on it for a while. It was really cheap on Switch, but now that it's on Game Pass, I had absolutely no reason not to check it out. And yeah, I'd recommend it to anybody who's had their eye on it.
Nice. Game Pass delivering again.
Yeah, Game Pass is a good service. Yakuza just got added to Game Pass too.
Nice.
Yeah, one of them, and I've been wanting to check out that.
That's
series.
a whole series. I've yet to dip my toe in that, but I keep hearing good things about it, and I think I would like it too if I tried it.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
All right, cool. Well, guys, I think that's gonna do it for us this week. Thank you guys for listening, and thank you Connor and Mike for joining me. You can follow us at @Podcast Game Talk on Twitter. Please rate, and review us on all the podcast services, including SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and anything else you use to listen to podcasts.
Join our Discord.
Yes. Click the description of this episode to join our Discord and chat with us there. Once again, thank you, Connor and Mike.
Yep.
And we will catch you next time. See ya.
Bye, guys.